XT. Fort Braxton, early morning. The first light of dawn rolls across Fort Braxton like a military parade. Precise, disciplined, golden. The American flag rises on several poles in unison. Boots pound pavement. Cadence echoes. Vehicles roar to life. Everything moves in a choreography of power and control. Narrator, subtle overlay text, not spoken. Welcome to Fort Braxton, where ghosts walk in plain sight. EXT. Base commissary, parking lot, morning. A lone figure approaches the commissary. Miranda Reeves, 55, walks with the posture of someone born in a uniform, upright, composed, controlled. But there's a limp in her right leg, subtle, like a scar that forgot to fade. She wears a faded olive-green military jacket, sleeves frayed, fabric threadbare. It clings to her like memory. Some officers pass behind her. Young lieutenant, mocking, whispering, "Looks like she pulled that out of a Vietnam surplus bin." Second lieutenant, snickering, "That thing probably saw Saigon." They laugh. Miranda doesn't turn, doesn't flinch. She just keeps walking. Int, commissary, continuous. The automatic doors exhale a mechanical sigh as Miranda enters. The store buzzes with life. Young families, retirees, soldiers grabbing breakfast on the run. Miranda picks up a red plastic basket, pulls a creased list from her jacket pocket. She moves with precision, silent, almost invisible. She stops in the soup aisle. Fingers, marked by a surgical scar, trail across cans. Her movements are methodical, not indecisive, but tactical. Behind her, two lieutenants. Same ones. Lieutenant 1. "Did you see the new field gear list?" Lieutenant 2, glancing at Miranda. "Not yet, but it's probably the same old shortage." Beat. Speaking of shortages, Miranda keeps studying soup labels, doesn't react, but her shoulders tense. Barely. Lieutenant 1, snickering. What did she do? Raid her grandfather's closet? Lieutenant 2, no way. That's thrift store clearance rack for sure. Tradies commissary, pasta aisle. Moments later, Miranda reaches for spaghetti on a high shelf. Her jacket sleeve slips up. The scar on her wrist shows. She winces, shoulder protesting. Lieutenant 1, low, but not low enough. Think that scar's real? Lieutenant 2, could be. Or maybe she cut herself, making ramen. Miranda's hand tightens around the box, white-knuckled. A flash of something flickers in her eyes. She moves on. As she walks away, a photo peeks out from her inner jacket pocket. 5 soldiers in desert gear, faces blurred, a chopper behind them. Just for a second. Int. Dairy section. Later, Miranda selects a carton of eggs. The lieutenants are still nearby. A few enlisted soldiers enter. One recognizes the lieutenants. Young specialist. "Morning, sirs." Lieutenant 1, pointing at Miranda. "What do you make of that fashion statement?" Specialist, grinning, unsure. "Very retro, sir. Almost authentic." Lieutenant 2, almost. Probably trying for the stolen valor look. Int, commissary, checkout line. Miranda heads to checkout. She walks slowly now. The pain is more visible. She's conserving energy. A retired master sergeant scans groceries. He notices the worn patch outline on her chest. He knows, says nothing, just nods subtly. Master sergeant, quiet. "Have a good day, ma'am." Miranda, hoarse. "You too." In T, customer service desk. Minutes later, a young woman, Alicia, 20s, greets Miranda with professional cheer. Alicia, "How can I help you?" Miranda, "I need to verify my address with base records." Sliding over ID. Alicia, "Are you active duty or a dependent?" Miranda, "Veteran." Alicia, "I'll need to see your DD-214 or veteran card." Miranda presents a folder of classified documents. Alicia hesitates. Alicia, I'll have to get my supervisor. The lieutenants finish checkout and hover nearby, watching the exchange with interest. Lieutenant 2. Loud. Some people will say anything for a 10% discount. A chuckle from someone in line. Miranda doesn't react. The supervisor arrives, scans the paperwork. Supervisor, frowning. This doesn't meet verification requirements. You'll need to contact the VA. Miranda, the VA sent me here. Supervisor, then I'm sorry. There's nothing we can do. Behind her, murmurs rise. The lieutenants are entertaining a small crowd now. Lieutenant 1, classic scam, vague classified mission, no paperwork, just a story. Miranda says nothing, just gathers her bag. She turns and finds herself facing the small crowd. Their eyes scan her with judgment, pity, or worse. XT, commissary entrance, continuous. The automatic doors open, and a powerful presence enters. General Marcus Harris, 60s, 4 stars on his chest, aides trailing behind. He's focused on a document. Miranda instinctively steps aside, head lowered. Civilian deference. She's nearly past him. General Harris glances up. His eyes catch the barely there patch on Miranda's jacket. He freezes. General Harris, low, thunderstruck. Spectre Group. Tyrann? 03? His aides stop, confused. The commissary quiets. The general snaps to attention. A crisp, formal military salute. Gasps ripple through the room. Miranda stands frozen. Then, slowly, she returns the salute, muscle memory awakening. General Harris, clear. Captain Reeves. Miranda, strong. Yes, sir. The crowd stills. The lieutenants look pale. Int. Commissary Cafe. Later, General Harris and Miranda sit with black coffee. Every eye in the store is on them. General Harris. Your unit saved us. 3 birds down. No extraction plan. We were surrounded. You carved an escape corridor through hell. Miranda nods. General Harris, soft. Only 3 of you made it home? Miranda. I'm the last now, sir. EXT. Commissary. Same time, the lieutenants stand outside, stunned. Word spreads. Inside, a customer service supervisor tiptoes up to their table. Supervisor, humbled. Captain Reeves. I apologize for earlier. We'd be honored to assist with anything you need. General Harris, firm. Captain Reeves's documentation will be handled at the Pentagon level now. INT Cafe. Continuous, General Harris. What brings you here? Miranda. VA appeal. Injuries from Tyrann. They won't approve care without documentation. Documentation they can't access. The general's face hardens. He dials a number. General Harris. Into phone. This is General Harris. Spectre Group. TAN operation. Declassify personnel records. Medical injuries only. Effective immediately. Priority 1. EXT. Commissary. Later, the lieutenants approach, sheepish. Lieutenant 1. Ma'am, I want to apologize. Our behavior was inexcusable. Lieutenant 2. We mocked someone who deserves more respect than we've earned yet. Miranda studies them. Then, quietly. Miranda, you couldn't have known. That was the point of units like mine. We stayed in the shadows, so you could stand in the light. XT, Fort Braxton. Later that day, Miranda walks alone under a rising sun. Her silhouette long, her limp steady. For the first time, people step aside to let her pass, not because of pity, but because they finally see her. Int. Commissary. Moments later, the same automatic doors sigh open as Miranda steps inside. But this time, people nod with respect. They acknowledge her. Not everyone knows the full story. It's still mostly classified. But enough know. At the service counter, Alicia looks up, eyes lighting up in recognition. Alicia. Good morning, Captain Reeves. Miranda, with a small smile. Morning, Alicia. In tea. Commissary. Aisles Miranda walks through the store with quiet confidence. She's still frugal, still compares prices, but the strain is gone. Her VA benefits have come through. As she rounds the canned goods aisle, a familiar face comes into view. Lieutenant Harmon, one of the two from 3 months ago. He spots her and immediately straightens, nervous but sincere. Lieutenant Harmon, Captain Reeves. Miranda. Lieutenant, he approaches respectfully. Lieutenant Harmon, I wanted to let you know. Your case study is now part of the Leadership Development Program. Miranda pauses, surprised. Lieutenant Harmon, conted. General Harris introduced it himself. They're using it to teach new officers about respect, especially for the unseen, about not judging by appearances. Miranda studies him, this time with a trace of warmth. Miranda, that's a lesson worth learning early. Lieutenant Harmon, lowering his voice, especially when it comes from your own mistakes. Miranda, sometimes those are the best teachers. Int checkout line. Moments later, the same Master Sergeant cashier is there. His eyes flick to her restored patch. He smiles. Master Sergeant, good to see that old patch finally getting the respect it deserves. Miranda, about time, right? Master Sergeant, you've become something of a legend around here, Captain. Even my nephew at the academy says your mission is part of new training modules. Miranda, I'm hearing that more often lately. She pays in cash, her movements still precise. Inti, commissary, front area. Moments later, a young woman in uniform, perhaps 25, nervously approaches. She wears Lieutenant bars and an intelligence badge. She stops in front of Miranda and snaps a perfect salute. Lieutenant Mercer, we've been studying your Tyran extraction techniques. They've been added to the updated field manuals. Your innovations are now foundational doctrine for high-risk extractions. Miranda blinks. That pride again, sharp and unfamiliar. Lieutenant Mercer, conted. I'm part of the development team. Would you consider speaking to my platoon? Miranda hesitates. Years of secrecy pull back like shadows. Then, Miranda, I would. Within classification limits, of course. Lieutenant Mercer, relieved. That would be incredible, ma'am. EXT commissary parking lot. Later, Miranda places her groceries in the trunk. Her movements are smoother, more sure. A moment later, a figure approaches from the direction of headquarters. It's Jean, General Harris again, walking briskly with a junior officer. He breaks course to intercept Miranda. General Harris, Captain Reeves, just the person I wanted to see. Miranda, Sir. General Harris, there's been a development. He lowers his voice. General Harris, conted. We located Specialist Rodriguez's family. His daughter is 26 now. She believed her father died in a training accident. Next month, she'll receive his silver star in his name. Miranda's eyes sting, but she keeps composure. Miranda, quiet. He deserved that. She deserves that. General Harris, we want you to stand with the family. As the last surviving member of your team, your presence will matter. Miranda, of course, I'd be honored. In T, Miranda's car. Moments later, she sits in the driver's seat for a moment. Her eyes drift to her reflection in the window. The woman who looks back at her is not invisible anymore. The patch gleams. The citation shines. And Miranda smiles. A real smile. Montage. 3 months in the light. Miranda speaking to a group of young soldiers, pointing at a digital map of the Tyran zone. She's calm, measured, powerful. A classroom projector shows her team's extraction layout, now part of field training. A training team in desert gear reenacts limited resource protocols inspired by her old unit. Miranda at a VA hospital, shaking hands with doctors, now treated with respect. General Harris in his office, overseeing documents with large black redactions, slowly being replaced by declassified versions. NT, General's office. Evening, General Harris is finishing a call. Miranda sits across from him. A new folder rests on his desk. Spectre Group partial clearance. Personnel and benefits only. General Harris, we're establishing a training program for high-risk extractions. We want you to help build it. Miranda, hesitant. Teaching's never been my strong suit, sir. General Harris, it's not teaching, it's experience, the kind they can't get from manuals. He hands her a card with the project lead's contact info. General Harris, conted. Think about it, Captain. The world's changed. And now, you're in a position to help change it back. EXT, Military Memorial Garden. Next day, a wall bears the names of fallen heroes. Miranda stands beside a plaque being unveiled. In memory of Specialist Rodriguez, Spectre Group. Rodriguez's daughter, 26, holds his silver star, tears on her cheeks. She looks to Miranda. Rodriguez's daughter, soft. I never knew what he did. Only that it mattered. Miranda. He was brave and selfless. Everything a soldier should be. EXT, Fort Braxton. Sunset. Miranda walks alone. The sun falls across the base, shadows long and golden. A group of young enlisted soldiers spot her and instinctively straighten up. Not out of protocol, out of respect. Narrator, overlay text only. Some service remains classified. Some sacrifices are never written down, but honor finds a way to speak. NT, Military Classroom. Base Training Center. Late afternoon. An overcast sky dulls the light from the windows. Inside a modern tactical instruction room, a group of young officers sit at attention. Charts of extraction protocols line the walls. At the front, a screen shows the outline of a desert conflict, 2003 map. A moment later, the door opens, and Miranda Reeves enters. The room shifts. The room had expected someone with rank, not presence. Miranda walks slowly, limping only slightly now. The restored Spectre patch and Presidential Unit citation pin gleam under the fluorescent light. Behind her, Lieutenant Mercer carries a thick case of files and media devices. Lieutenant Mercer. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Miranda Reeves, former Spectre Group Executive Officer. Today's lesson, extraction under hostile pressure with classified limitations. Every head is raised now. Not a sound. Miranda sets her hands on the desk. Miranda, you're going to see things today that don't exist. They were never officially written down. But they happened, and some of us paid a cost that doesn't expire when you leave the field. NT, Classroom. Later, a large screen shows a satellite map of a remote Iranian desert zone. Miranda draws a wide arc across the map. Miranda, Tyran 03, 3 downed helos, 32 lives stranded, including a diplomatic team. We had 6 operatives, no air support, and we had to punch a corridor through this zone, while evading IRG ground scans, anti-aircraft positions, and 2 roving armored patrols. One of the officers raises a hand. Young officer, no reinforcements? Miranda, negative. You didn't call for backup, Inspector Group. You were the backup. NT, Classroom. Darkened. Video footage plays classified drone footage, finally released under limited clearance. A team moves like shadows through a storm-swept desert. Miranda narrates over it. Miranda, VO. That's Callahan on point. Rodriguez on comms. Decker ran our overwatch. We laid the charges that created our escape funnel. I was second to Callahan, and when he went down, I had to take command. INT, Classroom. Break period. Snack table. The young officers swarm the coffee stand, whispering. Lieutenant Mercer, to Miranda. You've changed something in them, ma'am. It's like they're finally seeing that some heroes never wore medals. Miranda nods slowly, gazing out the window. Miranda, I used to think silence was the highest form of honor. Now I think teaching is. VA Regional Office. Days later, morning. A sharply dressed female administrator flips through a newly declassified file. Across the desk, Miranda waits silently. Administrator, Captain Reeves, your appeal has been fully approved. We now have medical record confirmation of your injuries and deployment dates. Miranda, thank you, Administrator. Your disability rating is now officially 90%. We've also fast-tracked back pay and housing adjustments. Miranda shows no outward reaction, but the tension eases from her shoulders, barely perceptible. Administrator, gently. And we're adding your name to the Service in Conflict register. That hits her harder than expected. The register means her name, and her teams, will finally exist, even if redacted. NT. Military Base. Memorial Office. Later, a young technician is examining a wall-mounted touchscreen. Miranda stands with General Harris, observing a new digital plaque. It reads, Spectre Group Unit Designation, Confidential. Mission, Extraction, Tyran 03. Members, Partial List Declassified. Confirmed, KIA 3. Survivors, 3. Silent Shadows in Defense of the Light. General Harris. It's not much, but it's a start. Miranda. They deserved more, but they'd be proud of this. NT. Miranda's home, night. Her modest base housing unit is quiet. The same faded photo of her Spectre team is now framed on a small shelf. Next to it, Callahan's dog tags, a folded flag, and the challenge coin from that day. Miranda sits at a desk, a yellow legal pad in front of her. She begins writing, then stops. Looks to the photo. Miranda, soft. How the hell do you explain something no one was ever supposed to know? NT. General Harris's office. Next day, Miranda sits across from Harris. Between them, a folder marked Spectre Legacy Curriculum. General Harris, you're going to head up a new unit. It's not Spectre, but it's built in its spirit. It's called Sentinel Task Group, and it'll train personnel in extraction, negotiation, and survival under blackout conditions. Miranda stiffens. Miranda, sir, I'm not sure. I don't command anymore. General Harris, you do now. You've spent 20 years buried under secrecy. Now you have a chance to lead again, this time in the light. Beat. Miranda exhales. Miranda, when do I start? General Harris, you already have. NT Briefing Room, Fort Braxton. A week later, the newly minted Sentinel Task Group sits in the room. No one knows quite what they're in for. Miranda walks in. The chatter dies instantly. Miranda, I'm Captain Miranda Reeves. You were selected for this because someone believes you have what it takes to lead when orders fail, radios go dark, and plans fall apart. I'm here to train you for the war no one talks about, the one that exists in the blind spots. EXT, Mountainous Training Zone, montage scenes of early-stage training. Miranda watches young recruits make every mistake in the book and correct them. One collapses during a drill. Miranda kneels beside her, offering water and firm advice. Miranda, VO. Spectre didn't get second chances, but Sentinel will. Because when the world forgets you, your team remembers. And you don't leave your team behind. INT Military Courthouse. Formal ceremony. 1 month later, a small but powerful ceremony is underway. The family of Specialist Rodriguez receives his Silver Star. Miranda stands beside them as the general gives a somber speech. Tears roll down the cheeks of Rodriguez's daughter as she holds the citation. General Harris. Some heroes are never written into history, but they make it anyway. Miranda places a hand on the young woman's shoulder, steady and present. N.T. General Harris's office. Knight General Harris watches Miranda walk away through his office window. He turns to his aide. General Harris. You ever wonder who saved your life before you ever knew it was in danger? Aide, quiet. More often now, sir. EXT, Fort Braxton, nightfall. Miranda stands alone, watching Sentinel cadets finish their day's training. As the sun dips low, shadows stretch long across the tarmac. Miranda, VO. They always told us we were ghosts, but ghosts remember, ghosts endure, and sometimes ghosts come back to finish what they started. EXT, Fort Braxton, Sentinel Task Group Training Field. Early morning fog hovers over the field. Recruits run obstacle drills. Miranda walks the line, sharp-eyed. Her limp is barely noticeable now, but her presence is commanding. A young female recruit, Cadet Hall, stumbles during a vault and lands hard. The others keep going. Miranda approaches, kneels beside her. Miranda, you know what they told me in Tiran 2 minutes after I got shot? Get up. You're the last one standing. Hall winces, breath ragged. Cadet Hall. I can't, ma'am. Miranda. Yes, you can, because you're already thinking of the excuse. And in our world, excuses get people killed. Hall nods, grits her teeth, stands. Int. Fort Braxton, Miranda's office. Later, Miranda sits alone, reviewing an old declassified partial audio recording from the Tiran mission. The scratchy radio transmission plays, Callahan, radio. Spectre 02, hold the flank. This is our last window. No heroics, Reeves. Just finish the job. The tape crackles, then cuts. She shuts the player. Silence. Hangs. Int Pentagon, Intelligence. Briefing room, same time, General Harris stands before a panel of senior military and intelligence officials. A digital projection behind him shows classified overlays. General Harris. The partial declassification of Spectre Group operations is proceeding, but there's a concern. We've uncovered cyber intrusion attempts targeting the remaining records. Someone out there still wants those files buried or altered. Intelligence officer. Could be foreign actors or internal damage control. General Harris. That's why we're upgrading cyber protocols and re-interviewing surviving Spectre members, starting with Reeves. NT, Fort Braxton, military housing, Miranda's unit. Evening, a knock at the door. Miranda answers to find Colonel Bryant, military intelligence, flanked by a younger tech analyst. Colonel Bryant, Captain Reeves. We have reason to believe there's a new threat related to Spectre Group's legacy data. We need to talk. T. Miranda's kitchen. Later, Colonel Bryant places a classified tablet on the table. A file loads, Operation Tiran. Ghost Branch Intercept, potential unauthorized access attempt. Origin, domestic. Colonel Bryant. This came from an IP range inside the States. The attempts weren't amateur. Whoever did this had near military clearance levels. Miranda. Trying to erase us? Colonel Bryant. Or rewrite you? We believe someone wants your records altered to make you look like a rogue element. Tech analyst. Digital footprints point to a retired DoD contractor. Name's Victor Lane. Used to work black-tier contracts. Disappeared 3 years ago. Miranda. I know Lane. He tried to push Spectre under a foreign coordination agreement before it was shut down. NT Secure Operations Room. Next day, Miranda sits with Harris and Bryant at a secure table. A digital map traces Lane's last known movement. General Harris. We're authorizing a special off-books recon. You'll lead it. Miranda, startled. You're sending me back in? General Harris. Not a full team. Just you and one support operative. Your mission: verify Lane's identity and retrieve any data caches related to Spectre. EXT, Civilian Motel, Virginia Suburbs, night. A dark sedan pulls in. Miranda exits with a go-bag. Inside the room, a young CyberOps NCO awaits, Sergeant Avery Wells, sharp, sarcastic, and clearly nervous to meet her. Avery: Captain Reeves? Yes, ma'am. I've read your whole file. Well, the parts that exist. Miranda: We're not here to make history, Sergeant. We're here to find Lane and keep Spectre's truth intact. INT, Abandoned Tech Lab, outskirts of D.C. Next night, Miranda and Avery sweep through an abandoned classified facility. Dust, peeling seals, obsolete biometric panels. Suddenly, a red dot appears on the floor. Miranda dives, pulling Avery down, right as a suppressed shot cracks into the wall above them. Avery, panicked: We're burned! Miranda, calm: No, we're being warned. From the darkness, a distorted voice echoes. Distorted voice: You shouldn't have come, Reeves. They'll bury you for good this time. INT, hidden room, below the lab. Minutes later, a hidden panel leads to a bunker-like archive. Inside, hard drives, old paper logs, Spectre operation maps. Lane is nowhere to be seen, but the evidence is here. Miranda scans the room. Her face darkens as she sees one particular folder labeled Operation Black Sand Failure. Inside, her team's edited after-action report. Avery: This says your team ignored orders and went off mission. Miranda: That's not what happened. INT, back in motel. Hours later, Miranda speaks to Harris via secure satellite link. Miranda: They're rewriting the record. Our team didn't fail. We saved 32 lives. But someone in the upper levels wanted that corridor to collapse. Wanted no witnesses. General Harris: You're saying Spectre was set up? Miranda: Maybe not the whole team, but someone wanted us gone. General Harris: Quiet. Then we find out who, and we expose it. EXT, Military Cemetery. Next day. Early morning. Miranda visits the graves of her team. Call: Callahan, Rodriguez, Way, Decker. She places fresh military roses on each. Pauses at Callahan's. Miranda, softly: They tried to erase us, Danny, but we're still here, and I'm not done yet. NT Sentinel Task Group briefing room, same day. She returns to her unit. The cadets, including Hall, stand at attention. Miranda to her team: Today's lesson has changed. We're not training for someone else's war. We're training for ours, the kind that never gets a name, but demands everything anyway. NT, Harris's office, late night. Harris holds a printed dossier. His aide enters. Aide: Sir, about Lane. We just found a connection between him and a sitting Pentagon procurement officer. Payments traced through offshore crypto. General Harris, grim: It goes deeper than we thought. EXT, Fort Braxton, night. Miranda's quarters. Miranda lights a candle on her windowsill, a quiet tribute. The candle's flame flickers as wind brushes the glass. In the darkness, someone watches her window. Cut to black XT. Fort Braxton, early morning. A cold mist clings to the parade ground. Soldiers jog past in formation. Miranda stands still, observing from a distance. Her breath fogs in the cold air. Behind her, General Harris approaches with urgency in his stride. General Harris: Rodriguez's Silver Star ceremony is next week. His daughter asked if you'd speak. Miranda, quietly: Yes, I owe him that. General Harris: And you need to see this before we move forward. He hands her a sealed envelope marked Eyes Only. Inside are classified records with photos, grainy surveillance images. Miranda stiffens. Miranda: No, That's not possible. The image shows a man in Istanbul, 2023, face partially obscured, but unmistakable to her. Sergeant Alex Decker. Miranda whispers, "Decker's dead." Int. Intelligence Operations Room, Fort Braxton. Later, Harris, Miranda, and a new intelligence liaison, Major Rena Cole, review the file. Major Cole. Facial recognition hit 93% accuracy. The subject's been seen in Turkey, Ukraine, and recently in Mexico. Always near high-level arms deals. This isn't a ghost, Captain. It's your former teammate. Miranda, shaken. He was medevaced after Tyran. I went to his funeral. Harris, empty casket. The body never reached Dover. Miranda, why would he fake his death? Major Cole, maybe he didn't. Maybe someone helped him disappear. Int. Miranda's quarters. Night Miranda watches an old Spectre Group team video, blurred and grainy, a team of 6 laughing beside a helicopter. Callahan, on video. This right here. These are the last ghosts this world will ever need. Freeze frame on Decker's face. Smiling, alive, trusted. Now, possibly, a traitor. Int. Classified briefing room. Next day, Miranda, now fully reactivated under limited orders, stands before a panel of high-ranking officers. Briefing officer, you have one mission. Locate Sergeant Decker. Verify identity. Assess whether he is a threat. Eliminate if necessary. Miranda doesn't flinch. She signs the orders. Miranda, I'll find him. NT, CIA Safe House, Mexico City. Night Miranda and Sergeant Avery Wells land in Mexico. A local CIA liaison, Agent Lara Benitez, meets them at the door. Benitez, you're not going to like this. He's working security detail for someone on our watch list. A contractor named Ivan Grekov, ex-Spetsnaz, arms trafficking, possibly state-backed. Miranda nods grimly. Miranda, and Decker? Benitez. Grekov trusts him, like a brother. Wix-T, luxury compound, edge of Mexico City. Night through a scope, Miranda watches as Decker emerges from a fortified estate, speaking to Grekov, laughing like nothing had changed. Her hands tremble slightly. Avery, watching her. You okay? Miranda. No, but I'm going in anyway. NT, compound, infiltration. Sequence Miranda and Avery breach the perimeter under cover of darkness. Inside, silence. Precision. They find a secure vault door. Avery begins hacking it. Suddenly, a gun clicks behind Miranda's head. Decker, calm. You always moved too loud, Captain. Int. Secure room. Moments later, Decker stares her down across a table. Avery is tied and gagged in the corner. Miranda is zip-tied but composed. Decker, you were supposed to let it go, Miranda. We all were, but you had to keep digging. Miranda, you faked your death. Why? Decker, low. Because I saw the report, the orders, what we really were in Tyran. Miranda, shocked. What are you talking about? Decker, we weren't there to save diplomats. We were the cleanup crew for a botched intel leak. We were expendable. Miranda, no. That can't be right. Decker, you think Harris didn't know? You think Callahan died for a noble cause? He knew we were being set up. That's why he stayed behind. Flashback sequence. Operation Tyran. 2003. A brief stylized montage. Helicopters grounded in a sandstorm. A satellite dish burning. Callahan shouting, "Go! I'll hold them!" Decker rifling through a shredded file marked Directive 13. Spectre Red Ascent. Secure room. Back to present Decker. I disappeared because I knew they'd kill me if I talked. I work for Grekov now because I have no country left to fight for. Miranda. That's not who you are. Decker. It's who I had to become to survive. Suddenly, boom! An explosion rocks the compound. A breach team storms in. General Harris himself enters in tactical gear. General Harris. On your feet, Sergeant Decker, you're coming back. Decker doesn't resist. Int. Interrogation room. Fort Braxton. Later. Decker sits alone, eyes hollow. Miranda watches through the glass. Harris joins her. General Harris, what he said about Directive 13. It's real. Miranda, stunned. You knew? General Harris, only after the fact. I tried to stop it, but the chain was already broken. They wanted you gone because Spectre uncovered something we weren't supposed to. Something that threatened multiple nations. Miranda, and now, General Harris, now we expose them. If we don't, all of this was for nothing. In Miranda's office. Night Miranda looks over a sealed box marked Spectre Group, unclassified draft. It holds evidence, names, copies of redacted files. She writes a note. If anything happens to me, release this. Mr. XT, gravesite, Rodriguez ceremony, day. She stands beside the podium, delivering a short but powerful eulogy. Miranda. He gave his life not just in service to country, but in loyalty to truth, the kind of truth that doesn't always get carved in stone, but today, it's finally heard. Rodriguez's daughter stands proud, tearful, holding the medal. XT. Base. Dusk. Miranda walks the base quietly. As she rounds a corner, she finds her door ajar. Inside, her files, tossed. The box is missing. On her desk, a note scrawled in red ink. You should have stayed dead, too. She slowly backs out of the room, scanning the shadows. Cut to black, corny trin. Intuit. Miranda's quarters. Night Miranda crouches, weapon drawn. Her once safe space has been breached. The red-inked threat, you should have stayed dead too, still trembles slightly on the desk, as if freshly written. She checks her files. The box containing the unclassified Spectre Group evidence is gone. Her fingers trace the outline of a small microphone hidden in a desk lamp. Miranda, quietly, they're already inside. Int. Secure Intelligence Vault, Fort Braxton. Next day, Miranda and General Harris stand inside a soundproofed CF room. Avery Wells is with them. General Harris, grim. The leak is internal. That narrows it, but not enough. Whoever took your file knew exactly what to look for. Avery, the cameras outside your quarters were disabled at 2:13. Clean, professional, no fingerprints, no DNA. Miranda, that message. It wasn't a warning. It was permission. They're escalating. EXT, Washington, D.C. Night, a man in civilian clothes sprints through the rain, weaving through alleys. A black SUV slowly follows behind. This is Major Alan Fisk, mid-40s, former Pentagon analyst. He holds a thumb drive wrapped in waterproof tape. He reaches a safe house, pounds on the door. Fisk, urgent. I need Captain Miranda Reeves. Tell her? Directive 13 wasn't just Spectre. It's still operational. NT, safe house. Hours later, Miranda meets Fisk in a darkened room lit only by a laptop screen. Fisk, shaking. I used to work black files, special access only. Thought I was protecting the country. But this? Directive 13 was built to bury any unit or op that found inconvenient truths. Spectre, Viper teams, even domestic intel squads. We weren't protecting secrets. We were erasing threats to a rogue command network. Miranda, coldly. Who runs it now? Fisky. I don't know all the names, but Grekov wasn't just arms trafficking. He was a supplier for Talon, the unofficial offshoot of Directive 13. They handled the dirty work, including eliminating witnesses. He places the thumb drive on the table. Fisk, quietly. I can't carry this anymore. You were in the fire once. If anyone can survive it again, it's you. Int. Pentagon, classified elevator shaft. Night Harris and Miranda ride in silence, descending below public record levels. Miranda, how deep does this go? Harris, Talon was supposed to be dismantled 10 years ago. I signed the order myself, but now I believe they went underground. Grekov, Decker, they were just the visible pieces. Miranda, they took the Spectre files. What's next? Harris, they'll try to discredit you, or kill you, maybe both. INT-based conference room. Next morning, Miranda sits in front of a tribunal of Defense Department suits. A formal review has been opened into her unauthorized reactivation and breach of intelligence protocols. A smirking young prosecutor reads off accusations, but behind his legal tone is something colder. DOD prosecutor. Captain Reeves, can you explain why a classified thumb drive was found in your safe house? Or why a known whistleblower was seen entering your location 24 hours before he turned up dead? Miranda, icy calm. Because he gave me the truth. And truth doesn't die with the messenger. INT, Fort Braxton, prison holding. Same day, Miranda visits Decker, still being held in a secure isolation cell. Miranda, Grekov was working with Talon. Did you know that? Decker nods. Yeah, that's why I stayed close. I wanted proof. Miranda, then why not give it to us? Decker, because I knew you were the only one who wouldn't use it for leverage or bury it deeper. He slides a blood-stained photo under the glass partition. Decker, they took Callahan alive. He didn't die in Tehran. He's in a Talon facility. Miranda, shocked, that's not possible. Decker, they used him to test interrogation resistance for 15 years, and he's still alive. INT, briefing room, Fort Braxton. Knight, Harris, Miranda, and a skeleton team gather around a holographic map. Harris, this is Site Echo, Talon Black Site, somewhere near Diyarbakir, Turkey. Decker gave us the coordinates. If Callahan is really there, this isn't just about redemption. Miranda, it's about finishing what Spectre started. Harris, you're not authorized. This mission doesn't exist. Miranda, neither did Spectre Group. That didn't stop us before. INT. Onji, on night before deployment. Avery checks gear while Miranda stares at a Spectre Group patch she's re-sewn onto her vest. Avery, you sure we can do this with 5 people? Miranda, grim smile. Spectre did more with less. We just need ghosts to fly again. Montage. The team prepares a blacked-out stealth jet taxis down a dark runway. Miranda sharpens her knife. Harris signs a blank ops approval form, then burns it. Agent Benitez loads satellite images into a tablet. The Spectre patch is illuminated, not by ceremony, but by quiet, determined resurrection. Turkish mountains, night the team. Halo jumps under cover of a thunderstorm. The wind howls. Lightning flashes illuminate the jagged cliffs. Miranda, VO. We were erased to protect secrets, but some shadows refuse to disappear. INT Site Echo, security room. Knight Grekov, alive and fuming, watches drone footage of the approaching Spectre team. He slams his fist into the console. Grekov, kill them all. Add XT. Turkish mountains. Night lightning cracks across the sky as the Spectre team advances, camouflaged by the storm. Miranda leads the team. Avery, Benitez, 2 hand-picked Black Ops veterans, silently scaling jagged rock toward the compound known as Site Echo. Miranda glances at her tablet. Miranda, quietly, infrared grids weak on the western wall. It's our window. 15 minutes. Benitez, checking gear. Turret blind spots match the 2009 schematic. But if they've updated since, we won't get a second chance. Avery. Then we don't need one. INT, Site Echo, control room. Grekov paces like a cornered wolf. A Talon tech shows the perimeter breaches lighting up in red. Talon tech. 5 heat signatures. Could be local insurgents. Grekov, snarling. No, that's her. He stares at the screen showing infrared silhouettes slicing across the mountainside. Grikov. Miranda Reeves. I buried her once. I'll do it again. INT Site Echo. Prison block, Captain. Daniel Callahan lies in a restraint chair. Gaunt, scarred, alive. His eyes flutter open. Outside the glass wall of his cell, a guard watches a monitor, unaware of the storm rolling in. EXT. Perimeter wall. Site Echo. Moments later, the Spectre team slices through the wire, slipping inside like phantoms. Miranda signals. They split. Avery and Benitez head toward the control room. She and the two operators move toward prison block Theta. Operator 1. Looks like Talon's security hasn't changed much. Miranda, grim, because they thought no one would come for the ghosts. INT control room. Site Echo. Avery bursts in, silent but deadly. Her suppressed weapon drops 2 guards. Benitez hacks the surveillance system. Benitez, Miranda, you've got 7 minutes. After that, they'll reboot the grid. Miranda, overcom. Copy. Make sure they can't trace us when we leave. Benitez, already done. Their backup data's now a weather channel. INT, prison block Theta. Cell 03. Miranda kneels before the reinforced glass. Inside, Callahan, unconscious, still strapped down. Her fingers brush the glass. Miranda, softly. Major, it's Reeves. We came back. He stirs, slowly, eyes swollen. Recognition flickers, almost disbelieving. Callahan, raspy. Took you long enough. Operator 2. We don't have clearance codes. Miranda pulls a laminated card from her vest. Old, cracked, and sealed in plastic. Miranda, triple-blind clearance. Still works if they didn't change protocol. She inserts the card. The lock disengages with a soft click. INT. Site Echo. Main hallway alarms sound. Benitez, overcom. They're on to us. Security grid rebooted. You've got a full platoon heading your way. Miranda, we'll take the West Tunnel. Meet at extraction point Bravo. She lifts Callahan's arm over her shoulder. He's weak, but alive. EXT, Site Echo, tunnels. Night gunfire erupts in the dark. Flashlights cut through smoke as the Spectre team fights its way through narrow corridors. Callahan clutches a pistol, staggering behind Miranda. Callahan, grunting, I saw you go down in that desert. Thought you didn't make it. Miranda, firing back. I didn't, but I got back up. INT, tunnel shaft, final gate. They reach the final blast door. Avery, we're sealed in. Benitez, not for long. He plants a small charge and blows the locking mechanism. As the door opens, more Talon soldiers appear, blocking their escape. Callahan, quietly to Miranda. Go. Miranda. No one stays behind this time. The team forms a protective arc, laying down suppressive fire. The escape chopper blades can be heard now, somewhere above. EXT, mountainside, helipad, dawn. The rain stops just as the Spectre team bursts from the tunnel. Bloodied, limping, but intact. A stealth extraction chopper hovers low. Miranda helps Callahan in. Pilot. We're not cleared for Turkish airspace. We've got 10 minutes before someone notices. Miranda, over headset. Then we vanish, just like the first time. INT. Chopper. Airborne. Moments later, the team is silent as the mountains fade beneath them. Callahan lies back, breathing heavily. Callahan, to Miranda. They never told me who made it. Miranda. You're looking at them. He closes his eyes. Callahan. We finished it? Miranda. Soft. Almost. INT, Fort Braxton. General Harris's office. 2 days later, Miranda places a classified folder on Harris's desk. Miranda. Site Echo's gone. Talon lost their leverage. Harris opens folder. And Callahan? Miranda. Recovering. He gave a full debrief. He wants to disappear again, this time on his terms. Harris sighs. It's over then. Miranda, shaking her head. No, Talon isn't just a rogue cell anymore. It's embedded, deeper than we thought. Harris, reading the report. Then we expose it. NTVA press conference. 1 week later, Miranda stands silently behind the podium as General Harris addresses the room. Harris, effective immediately. Spectre Group's service record has been unsealed in part. Medical and operational benefits will be restored. Their contributions, long buried under layers of secrecy, are to be acknowledged with honor. Cameras flash. Veterans in the audience stand and applaud. EXT, National Cemetery, Ceremony. Day a full military honors ceremony. Miranda stands next to a young woman in tears, Specialist Rodriguez's daughter, as his Silver Star is presented posthumously. Miranda places a folded Spectre patch into the daughter's hand. Miranda, soft. He kept us alive. Int Miranda's home. Night Miranda sits on her porch, looking out at the stars. She sips coffee, the Spectre patch framed on the wall behind her. Her phone buzzes, a message from Avery. Ready when you are. She texts back, one more mission. NT, Pentagon, underground briefing room. Night the lights are low. Miranda, now in updated fatigues bearing a discreet but official Spectre insignia, sits across from General Harris, Avery, Benitez, and a small group of high-clearance analysts. A massive screen shows a web of connections. Government contractors, ex-military brass, offshore accounts. In the center, one word, Talon. General Harris. They've evolved, rebranding as contractors, embedded in NATO, UN peacekeeping, even domestic logistics. Avery. Everything Spectre once prevented. They've duplicated in the open. Miranda. They buried us and built a war machine on top of the grave. Benitez, quietly. We finish it this time? Harris. You finish it. This isn't a public war. It's a surgical strike. One Talon hub at a time. EXT. London. Night rain lashes the windows of a stone and glass high-rise. This is Talon Europe HQ, disguised as a think tank. Miranda, Avery, and Benitez enter under aliases, credentials cleared through black channels. NT. HQ lobby. Moments later, the receptionist glances up from her desk. A flicker of recognition in her eyes when she sees Miranda's gait. Receptionist, into headset. She's here. In the penthouse above, a man in a tailored suit, Declan Shaw, Talon's Global Operations Chief, freezes mid-presentation. Shaw, end the meeting. Now NTHQ server room. Night Avery hacks in while Benitez sets thermite charges. Avery. They've got blackmail protocols embedded. If we trip the wrong node, it exposes Spectre Ops globally. Miranda, studying the code. Use the ghost relay. Benitez. That's still functioning? Miranda. Only for people who never officially existed. With precision, they route through the ghost channel. A buried protocol Spectre once used to erase themselves from enemy radar. Avery smiles. Avery. We're back online. Int penthouse. Night Miranda confronts Shaw, alone. He pours himself a drink, seemingly unbothered. Shaw. You know what I learned from Spectre? The world doesn't want heroes in the shadows anymore. They want control. Profit. You were ghosts. We became gods. Miranda. Gods don't bleed. But you're about to. Shaw, smirking. You can't shut it down. Too many branches. Too many governments in on the game. Miranda steps closer. Maybe, but I can make sure you're the first to fall. With one smooth motion, she hands him a dossier. Contents already leaked to the Interpol task force waiting in the lobby. Sirens rise in the distance. Shaw reads the top page. His smirk falters. Shaw, quietly. You went public? Miranda. Number. I let the world see who you really are. That was enough. Montage, global fallout, government hearings, Talon-affiliated generals testifying, media uproar, graves being honored, Spectre names, partially unsealed, honored with citations posthumously. Rodriguez's daughter receiving a folded flag at the Pentagon Hall of Valor. General Harris pinning a medal on Miranda's chest, eyes misty. In T, Military Academy, Lecture Hall. Day Miranda stands at the front of a hall packed with cadets. Behind her, a slide shows. Spectre Group, Lessons from the Unseen War. Miranda, we were trained to disappear. But now, your generation must learn what we died to protect. Your greatest advantage isn't technology. It's knowing where silence ends and truth begins. A standing ovation. EXT. Fort Braxton. Memorial Wall, sunset. A new plaque is being installed beside the VA building. It reads, "In honor of Spectre Group, 1993 to 2004, for deeds never spoken, but never forgotten." Miranda, now in civilian clothes, watches from a small distance. General Harris steps beside her. Harris, Talon's global arm is shattered. They'll resurface. They always do. But now we know what to look for. Miranda, then it's your fight now. Harris, only with your guidance. You ever think of leading training? Miranda, smiling. Already agreed to guest lecture. Baby steps. NT Miranda's home. Later that night, Miranda unboxes a package. Inside, a worn Spectre patch, now mounted on polished black walnut. Below it, a note, to Captain Miranda Reeves, for standing when others disappeared. A soldier who never forgot. She turns it over, Callahan's initials. Alive, somewhere in Montana. Miranda sets the frame next to a photo of her old team. She pours a glass of bourbon, sits, and lifts it in toast. Miranda, softly. We came back. The end